That's Brian Sobel. Brian, thanks for being with us tonight.
My pleasure.
Big stage, 12 candidates, 3 hours. Did anyone really stand out tonight?
Well, I think if you consider that Elizabeth Warren had the target on her back tonight, I thought she performed well, had good answers. I thought Joe Biden, I heard a lot of criticism of his performance tonight. I take issue with that. I thought he actually had a pretty good night. And keeping in mind, of course, that he wasn't the target. He could feel a little bit more comfortable out there, and that was real clear. I thought Bernie Sanders looked like he had come out of his health issue in really good shape. He came out fighting as he always does. But I think one of the people that really did well, and I don't know whether he has a future in this race, but Pete Buttigieg, I thought did an excellent job.
What did you think he did well?
Well, first of all, he was in the middle of almost every discussion out there, whether it was health care, the gun control issue, everything that he touched tonight. He had something to say about it, and it had substance. And one of the things that happens is in these things is you hear the same talking points. We're now 4 debates. You've heard a lot of the same stories.
Going back to Joe Biden, do you think he diffused the issue tonight with his son and what his son did, or do you think that is going to be a common thread here and could end up hurting him in the long run?
Well, it's going to come up again and again. I think what happened tonight was that there was a sort of a mutual agreement among all the candidates. We're not going to talk about Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden, as Greg reported, talked about it earlier today. So, you know, he got kind of a pass on it today.
During the 3 hours, there was sort of a dust-up of sorts between the two frontrunners, Biden and Warren, about who really gets things done in Washington. What do you make of that?
Well, Joe Biden is saying, not just as vice president, but as a senator, I was involved in landmark legislation. I did a lot of things in Washington, D.C., basically saying before you showed up and became a player. And Elizabeth Warren is saying, hey, I've got my name on a lot of pieces of legislation as well. You know, it's a debate that's going to go on. Cory Booker tonight talked about not having sharp elbows and not getting in arguments with one another, but that's the nature of one of these things.
That's what I wanted to ask you. What do you think about Democrats attacking Democrats during these debates?
Well, on the issues and the policy points, absolutely appropriate. We have to know what separates or differentiates one candidate from another. Nobody's fooling the Trump people or the Trump campaign on this. They know what questions are going to be asked by the president in future debates.
Just one final thought before we let you go, Brian. Yes. Going into this, we know who the front runners are. Did anything really change tonight?
No, I think you know, Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren will come out of this still at the top of the pack. Elizabeth Warren will be leading. Bernie Sanders will have, I think, upped his poll numbers a little bit because he had a good night. And then from there, other people.
Those are the 3 to watch.
Absolutely.
All right, Brian, thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
And